Is not the teacher's presence mere imagination, pure fantasy?
No, not at all. You are creating a subtle reality. Remember, in the subtle world, everything is created by our thoughts. There, a thought alone brings about what was desired.
Express your wishes cautiously. Remember about the Raja who wished to receive a beautiful palace and did receive it, but who, on entering it, thought about an attacking tiger, which then appeared and tore him to pieces.
Use these higher possibilities of your higher self. With a pure imagination, you may summon higher beings to your presence, as we shall discuss shortly. Above all, however, recognize, from a purely practical point of view, it actually does not matter whether the teacher is really physically present or whether you just imagine that. The result is in both cases the same.
You are behaving worthily.
We are not playing games. One day, at the latest after death, you really want to be admitted to the abode of the teacher in the subtle world. The best preparation for that is the virtual path. Thereby you can try and practice the higher lifestyle that is cultivated up there, already down here.
Can you give an example?
Let us come back to the physical visit to Helena Röhrig in the Kulu Valley. You will achieve the same salutary effect when you only imagine that you are living with her, or that she moves into your house, as in previous times people used to invite a spiritual guide to live with them in their home.
You assume a higher lifestyle.
The actual physical presence of the teacher is not necessary at all. When you live as if he were present, you are being guided by his spirit. Let us unfold our imagination. Let us be like children. Let us play that we live in the presence of a master. Let us summon the courage to realize the spiritual reality is as important as the material reality. We would like to mention a variant of our exercise. If the idea of the teacher's presence is too mystical for you, we may say, behave as if the master were temporarily absent. He is near, in the adjoining chamber, and may enter your room at any moment. Then you have to be watchful and prepared for his appearance. He must not surprise you at a behavior which would make you blush.
We act wisely if we behave toward the deceased as we would toward an absent friend. You should have the same attitude toward us.
Finally, there is a last modification of the exercise. Imagine your best friend, together with whom you go to school with the same teacher, is always with you. In business life, important negotiations are always being led in pairs. In the army, a guard always consists of 2 persons, and fighter jets never take off alone. Likewise, it is customary since ancient times never to send a monk from the monastery out into the world alone, but always to assign him a companion to accompany him on the way. 2 comrades support each other and call each other back to the right path, if need be, whether they are walking together physically or only in spirit. We can still extend and refine our exercise. Let us move on to the next step.
It is an age-old tradition in all religions to worship and even pray to the images of saints, of the Mother of God Maria, of Jesus or of the angels, which have been set up in church, at the wayside, or at home on the family altar.
Such a portrait is like a talisman. It cleanses and heals you and your surroundings. Through the image, the faithful turn to the higher powers and ask for protection and help.
This is often superstition. How can we refine this practice to fit the needs of today?
Agni Yoga advises prepare a picture of your teacher. If you know his name, for example Plato, Francis of Assisi, Sergius of Radonezh, Helena Blavatsky or Mahatma Gandhi, you can easily procure a portrait of him.
Good art makes us feel the spirit of a saint. Icons, the paintings of saints of the Middle Ages, as well as the paintings by modern inspired painters, fill an entire room with a sublime vibration that uplifts us humans as well.
Place the portrait of your teacher at your bedside, on your desk, and on the altar before which you meditate.
The picture helps you to maintain the consciousness of the teacher's presence.
Hang the picture on the wall behind your workplace. Then the people who come to see you to ask for advice or help see that you are selflessly acting on orders from above. The portrait of one of the Mahatmas should hang in every home and every office. Thereby we express that here the higher will is being carried out in the name of the hierarchy. You can further refine this practice. Learn to get along without the physical picture. Do not just look regularly at the physical portrait you have placed in different places. Rather, let the spiritual image of your master appear before your inner eye.
One must have before oneself the image of the hierarch in order to find in all cases a basis of friendliness.
Do not lose sight of this mental image. Every now and then, look up to it. Keep constant eye contact. Imagine the face of your teacher as lively as possible.
Is he smiling or is he crying about your behavior?
It is reported about Saint Clara Fey.
You could see several times how her heart turned to the one she loved and was always looking for, unconsciously to herself. Otherwise she would have anxiously tried to hide it. She made a small turn of the head. Her eyes became brighter than usual and assumed a very intimate, meaningful expression. When you talked to her, you clearly saw the beautiful, loving look she turned aside about every 15 minutes, as if to turn to someone with sincerity.
Address the subtle picture with prayers or questions. This is the first step of a conscious spiritual communication with your non-incarnated teacher. We had already said, we finish every meditation with the words,
Father, thank you for the presence of your Spirit. I follow you. May your portrait always stand before my eyes. We do not advocate rituals. People should not burden themselves with ceremonies and should realize that only inner striving will bring them to perfection. Let them visualize the image they revere. For such inspiration, rituals are superfluous. Everyone, in the purity of his own heart, can commune with the teacher. Thus can earth be filled with good aspirations. Such people will not be left in solitude, for the ultimate goal of goodness will unify all seeking hearts.